Haha!
Hey there, Ted Rogers. How you doing? The reason I want to talk to you today, Ted, is because I wanted to clear the air. And before I do that, I want to say that I like very much to make my point succinctly and articulately. And I realize that as soon as you step away from making your point with well-reasoned arguments and resort to petty name-calling, that you run the risk of having the person you're talking to tune you out. Despite that, though, I have to say that you, Ted Rogers, are an absolute flaming douchebag, and I hate you. As some people may know, I'm a big fan of Apple products. I like their hardware and their software. I adore my MacBook Pro, and I've used my iPod literally every single day since I got it. It's fantastic. And as a Canadian, I've been waiting for the iPhone for a year. Now, Ted, I heard a really nasty rumor that the reason we don't already have the iPhone in Canada is that Apple wanted the providers to offer unlimited data plans and competitive rates, but you didn't want to stop gouging your customers for every damn feature. Caller ID isn't something you should have to pay extra for, you bastard! You held out for so long, Ted, that I'd actually lost interest in it and moved on to the BlackBerry, which I got from you, and only have the email running on because of how ludicrously expensive data plans are from you, Ted. Ted, are you listening? I'm sorry to be so crass, but I need to tell you again. You are an absolute flaming douchebag, and I want to punch you in the mouth and knock your teeth onto the floor. Jerk! Everyone knew that you'd eventually offer the iPhone, and considering the way that Apple was able to convince the other carriers in the world to offer better plans, we'd all hoped, hell, we'd all expected that when you finally started carrying the phone, that those plans would trickle down elsewhere. So I'd be able to use data on my BlackBerry. It was such a wonderful dream. And then, it seemed like the dream was about to come true. Apple announced the iPhone 3G and they said flat out that we'd be getting it in Canada on July 11th. Hot damn, I was thrilled. I was still planning on keeping the BlackBerry, but the plans would get cheaper. We'd get more value. I mean, sure, I thought you'd never give in because presumably you'd make less money if you dropped prices to make customers happy than if you kept gouging and didn't let the iPhone in. But the iPhone was coming, so you must have caved on something, right? Ha! So I was very excited and I went to the Rogers site to see about the plans and found nothing. I did a search on Rogers.com for iPhone and there were no results. None! Even though Apple's site immediately had a reference to Rogers and Fido's carrying the phone, you said nothing. Not only are you a douchebag, Ted Rogers, you suck as a salesman. You had a wonderful opportunity to get people talking about your brand in a positive way, and what did you do? Near as I can tell, you sat around with your douchebag board of directors and compared how firmly you had your thumbs up your butts. I mean, really, the most anticipated phone ever? And when your customers find out from someone else that you're going to sell it, we have to wait a full day to find out that something big is coming? We already know what it is, jackass. It's all over the web, all over the news. Why the hell are you being coy? You're not teasing people, you're just ticking them off. And then you take over a week to admit that it's the iPhone, and even then all you have is a link to Apple? Are you stupid, Ted? Is that it? Have I misjudged you? I mean, Here I was working under the impression, as I think most people have been, that you're just in it for the money, and you don't care how much you piss us off because we have very few options for these services in Canada. Most of us will just shut up and take it because we have to. Here I thought you were a sadist, cracking your expensive whip in our faces, but maybe you're just stupid. That would actually explain a lot. But then again, if you were stupid, Apple would have been able to wiggle the iPhone in your face and you'd have laughed and cheered and done whatever you needed to buy the new shiny. So it must be that you're an amoral peckerhead who actively hates his customers. Even after you acknowledge that, yes, surprise, surprise, Rogers is going to be offering the iPhone, you still didn't acknowledge the cost of the damn thing. Just about every other carrier said what they're going to be charging, and do you know why they all did that right away? Because they know that millions of people will want to buy this thing as soon as they possibly can, and they want to know what it'll cost. Douchebag! And me, Ted, I said that I was happy with my BlackBerry. Really, I am. But then I heard that the productivity app that I use, OmniFocus, will be available on the iPhone. And I have to say that one app is making me reconsider. Just one app. I wasn't ready to make a decision until I knew what it would cost, because if you were just going to offer the iPhone with the existing data plans, that wouldn't work. It just wouldn't, Ted. Your existing plans are a joke. They're something you'd cook up if you were trying to make a bad parody of what Ebenezer Scrooge would charge for cellular rates if you were in charge of a cell phone company before the ghost came to visit him and he regains his humanity. Listen, Ted, let me give you some advice. Withholding information from the public works if you're a company that people like. When Apple does it, hype builds up because people know that Apple will give them good stuff. People want to buy products from Apple, Ted. They do. People don't want to buy products from Rogers. They don't even want to associate themselves with you. Okay? They tolerate buying from you because they hate you, but you're the only option in a lot of places. And when you withhold information from people, you don't build hype. You build animosity. And people start speculating on how bad it's going to be when you announce it, because if it were any good, you'd already have told us about it to get everyone excited. So you finally release the plans, and they suck. Big time. Yes. They're far better than what you offered before, but that's only because you were charging us $25 a month for 4 megs. $30 for 400 is better, sure, but what you're doing, Ted, is removing the huge steaming pile of crap and replacing it with a smaller one. Do you understand the imagery I'm going for here, Ted? A lot of people are pissed off, Ted. A lot of people, and with good cause. There's no reason not to offer us unlimited data. Bell and Telus do, and they can afford it. But they don't have the iPhone, do they? That's the reason you can charge such messed up rates, isn't it? You greedy little douchebag. Because we can't get the iPhone from your competitors. What's worse is that the better data rates are only for the iPhone. If I wanted to get data on my BlackBerry, I'd be stuck doing it with the older rates, which is outlandish. This is to say nothing of the fact that you're making people sign up for a 3-year contract to get the best pricing on the phone, even though you're the only carrier in the world that isn't going 2-year. And there's no word yet on how expensive the phone is going to be for existing customers, because screw us, right, Ted? Screw us if we've already signed the contract and you've already got our money. Oh, also, there's another huge opportunity missed when you release the pricing, but do so before you tell your staff. So when people call about it the next day to find out how much the phone itself will cost them, your people don't know. Because hell, most of the people who are going to want the phone are already your customers and will need to find out. Douchebag. So I'm really disappointed here, Ted, and I wanted to tell you why. I think you should also know that a lot of people who are waiting for the phone, existing Rogers customers, and people who are going to change over from Bell or Telus are so ticked off at you for this crap that they're not going to get it. So this is actively costing you money, you asshat. Look, before I finish, I want to point out that I know that the employees at Rogers aren't the ones making the plans, and that they're quite helpful, and that they'd much prefer to be able to offer us the better plans. These are good people who are going to be having to endure a lot of negativity in the next while, which they do every day, and they have my sympathy and my respect. I know exactly where to direct my anger, and it's in that spirit that I want to say the following on behalf of every Canadian who has to deal with you. F*** you, Ted Rogers.